entirety of their net profits to support causes that strengthen the community. And Andy's going to share more about it.
So yeah, my name's Andy Ryan. Thank you for having me today. Thanks to those of you that came out for our social the other week. It was great to get to know a lot of you. Cascade Lakes Brewing was founded in 1994. My family and I bought in roughly 4.5 years ago in October 2018. We've been longtime Central Oregon residents, moving to Sun River in 2000, and from the moment we moved here, the community had a really great impact on my family and I. We lived in, we moved to Sun River to sort of find a safer, healthier place to raise a family. I'm one of four, have 3 siblings. My sister also works for the company. And my 2 brothers are great quality control analysts when they come home to visit. My younger brother was the social chair of his fraternity. He's 6'3", and then my older brother lives in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, so he knows craft beer. So when we moved here, we just immediately fell in love with Central Oregon. Support local was a huge proponent of our community, and we just always felt really blessed to live in the area. My parents, shortly after moving here, founded Three Rivers Care for Kids Foundation, which is a similar program to Kiwanis, similar mission, but centered around the youth of Sun River, and basically afforded not only my siblings and I, but a lot of our friends some really great opportunities athletically and academically. We really enjoyed growing up in Sun River, and then in 2011, when my siblings and I were all about high school age, we moved out east of Bend. We all graduated from Bend High, and as we became of age, we became really big fans of the craft beer industry. We had family friends in it. A family friend was the president of Cascade Lakes Brewing, and I followed my father's footsteps in studying chemical engineering. My family and I are all studied engineering, and as I was graduating college, I started home brewing. I followed my older brother out to the Midwest, went to a small school in Indiana. Didn't really know anyone there, and home brewing is, if you haven't tried it, it's a great hobby if you have a load of time on your hands, sort of thing. It takes, like, if you're doing it yourself, it takes 7, 8, sometimes 9 hours. So it takes a while, but I just really fell in love and just really enjoyed myself. So my dad's best friend, college best friend, he had started a small brewery. He started in his kitchen. His wife kicked him out of the kitchen because she couldn't stand the smell. So he sort of renovated his garage to accommodate for it. And he was fortunate enough to get the opportunity to scale his brewery up to partake in a brew pub. And he was retired and very much wanted to stay retired. And so he recruited me to do it with him. And that was our plan. He lived in Pennsylvania, and that's my folks' home. But we had planned to do the brewery out in Pennsylvania, but I came back to Bend for one of my best friend's weddings, and while we were in town, we met with the president of Cascade Lakes, who we were really close with. And I just had a list of 20, 30 questions before getting into the industry, and he was very helpful. But a day later, he called my dad and said Cascade Lakes was actually about to be put up for sale, and he thought that we would make a really great team. My dad, sort of with his business experience, he came up through the semiconductor industry. My passion more for operations, and then our family friend, knowing the restaurant side of the business, sales and marketing. And so that we made the decision to buy into Cascade Lakes in large part to relocate the family back to Central Oregon, and because it had such a profound impact on our family, and we viewed it as a way to give back to the community. something we were really excited about, something that I think is demonstrated often in the brewing community, especially the Central Oregon brewing community. So we bought in, and you know, we changed some things around. We got really lucky that Deschutes Brewing had some pretty major layoffs. So our brewmaster had 15 years of experience as a brewmaster at Deschutes Brewing. Our packaging manager was there for 21 years, and we recruited and hired a new head chef. And through their work, we've really been able to improve our quality and our image, and just like what we've been able to present to our guests. So those are some things that we're really proud of. And then, of course, when COVID hit, we have 2 restaurants, and you know, under Kate Brown's governance, that's pretty tough. That kind of was jerked around a lot. It was, I think we had to shut down 4 times. Yeah, it was really difficult. A lot of difficult conversations with people we loved. You know, just having to lay off people several times, not knowing what the future held for them. It was pretty scary and pretty dark. But we always knew that we wanted to be a positive impact on the community. So when we emerged from COVID and were able to partake in more communal events, we found them very rewarding, and just like we knew that was our favorite part of the business. When we could give back, when we could participate at events, like that for us is why we own a brewery. So through COVID, it became just family owned, and as we emerged from COVID, ourselves, like many other businesses in general, looked inward and wanted to, you know, ask ourselves, why are we in business today? And so that's when we made the decision to become a not-for-profit, basically declaring that whatever proceeds that we have that we're not putting back into the company, into specifically our people, we wanted to give back to the community. So a few not-for-profit or non-profits that we support include Brightside Animal Center here in Redmond, Street Dog Hero, Central Oregon Veterans Ranch, Central Oregon Trail Alliance, the Ben Lapine School District, Oregon Hunters Association, and Deschutes Land Trust, just to name a few. There's always a lot of really great opportunities to support through the brewery. So those are things we can be really proud of. That's definitely what we care about most at Cascade Lakes. My father has been fortunate enough through his success in the semiconductor industry to be able to put us in this position and to be really focused on giving back. So looking ahead, we're looking to take on more give back initiatives. We're looking to be an ever-growing part of our community. We've also recently added on healthcare for our employees and developed an incentive program and look to continuously upgrade the benefits package. Because for us, we have 2 restaurants right now. We're adding a 3rd one this spring in Southeast Bend, and if we can, it usually takes about like 30 to 40 people per restaurant, and you know, if we can have a positive impact on the lives of 120, you know, Central Oregonians, not to mention all the nonprofits that we partner with as well. That's something we can be really proud of. So yeah. So I know that was a little quick. I haven't been the guest speaker that often for places. I really appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate Redmond, the Kiwanis program in general. My siblings and I were all Key Club members growing up down in Sun River. And so I know Ron's, you know, helping me become reacquainted, but I do recall the positive impact it had on my life and my siblings' lives. And so we really appreciate what you do for our community. And with that, that's basically the nuts and bolts of why I'm here today, and hoping to work more with you moving forward. So yeah, any questions?
How do you train the employees in terms of the brewing activity?
How do we train them?
Yes.
Fortunately, we were able to hire some pretty experienced people that kind of know what they're doing coming into the job. Like I said before, our brewmaster has 15 years of experience at Deschutes. Our lead brewer was at Deschutes for 18 years, and our packaging manager was there for 21 years. So they're a much larger operation, but they were also key parts of their growth. So they understand a smaller brewing practice like ours, and we're really fortunate for that. That is, that as with my family doesn't have a strong retail hospitality brewing experience, so oftentimes we have to hire people with a little bit more experience. But we're pretty willing to trust and are pretty comfortable in their hands. We just try to do right by them, and they do right by us. So that's our approach with both the brewery and restaurants.
Cascade Lakes, you were the first brewery in Redmond to start one of these craft brews. And I think maybe the first in Central Oregon, because back in the 90s, I don't really remember any of them around. That's when they all started flourishing. I was on the planning commission with one of the founding members, and I always remember that he talked about how incrementally making the size of a pipe a little bigger increased the volume by tons. So, I never forgot that. I don't know why. If you care about children, young families with young children, BAND to me is my #1 nonprofit, because to me they do more than any group does to make an impact on young children's lives that are in school. Sorry, it wasn't a question.
Yeah, no worries.
Do you know where you stand in the hierarchy of craft breweries in Central Oregon? As Alan alluded to, we know you were early, but how many preceded you?
Deschutes Brewing was the first in 1988, and actually Silver Moon Brewery was second in 1991 or 1990. I think it was like at the turn of the year, and then we were the third in 1994, and we were Redmond's first. It was the brewery was founded by a pair of brothers, Dan and Scott Gaisley, in 1994, and then a father-son combination, Ron and Doug Catella, bought them out in 1999, and they added on partners in 2000 and 2001 to help run the Redmond restaurant, and then build the Bend restaurant, which was built in 2004. And it was basically two hands-on partners, the partners that they brought on, because I think, I don't know, but I think the father and son found out it wasn't really for them, or at least for the son. And then we brought in the fall of 2018.
Two questions. First of all, are you brewing on site at both your restaurants?
We don't. We actually brew just like about 3 minutes from here, across the street from COCC Redmond.
Okay. And then the next one is, would you be willing to talk to our key clubs?
Yeah. I mean, I used to be in one, so.
I think that would be a really cool thing.
Yeah, I'm always
What do you think,
hesitant to take the opportunities, because
Yeah.
I still have a lot to learn, sort of thing, and I respect the speakers that often come so much, but I would be honored to speak at key clubs.
You talked about, taking your profits to the nonprofit world. What caused you to do that, and what's your plan for rolling that whole new approach out within the company?
Well, it was sort of how we were already operating the company. We had been, we brewed the beer specifically for Brightside Animal Shelter, where we donated $1 per 6-pack sold to Brightside, and in such small projects like that, we really don't generate a lot of profit off of it. So we just thought, declaring our mission and our purpose of business would be helpful for the public to know and understand. It'd be helpful for our team, and then also it's opened the door for a lot more give back opportunities because people are like, they think of us now. We've already experienced a lot more, events because we've declared that. It's also allowed us to sort of, I guess, separate from the pack, differentiate ourselves a little bit. That was definitely a key reason why. And then there's added benefits. I think it's a little bit more attractive for hiring and for filling that team. And our team, I think, takes more pride in their work, knowing that our business. So it's so those are great reasons why.
Fantastic.
Sort of a follow-up to that, you're providing more benefits and you're moving into providing some health care. What about child care for your employees? That's such a big issue everywhere, but in Central Oregon is people can't afford to take a job because they can't find or afford child care. Is that something you think about for your employees in the future?
We've thought about adding on our covering the entire family in healthcare. Not so much with childcare. We do have a predominantly younger company, being mostly like our average age of our team is younger, so we haven't had that issue presented to us as much. But it's definitely something that needs to be on our radar, and we need to be.
Just curious.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Okay, so just a second question. What are the trends in craft brewing?
There are a lot of craft breweries. The market is, just about saturated. So primarily distribution is very difficult. When we're able to brew our own beer and drive the kegs to our own restaurants and sell it, at $5, $6 a pint, that's where our best margins are. So the restaurants are so important to us. Between how much all the materials and supplies cost around, they call it off-premise sales, can sales, selling to restaurants. In Oregon, you have to work through a third-party distributor, and they take their 30% cut, and the retailer also takes a 30% cut. So the margins are very slim in that, and it's highly competitive. You have to pay the salesperson to sell your beer in Portland or sell your beer in Southern Oregon, and if you add all of that up, it's a difficult business, especially if your brand is maybe not edgy enough or catchy enough, or you don't have the right marketing. So the trends I would say, the growth of craft beer experienced extreme growth from 2010 to 2015. The industry was growing at like 14 to 18% year over year, and it's kind of flatlined, and it's been around anywhere between 0 to 4% growth since, and that's including hard seltzer. They do include hard seltzer as in craft beer because it's the alcohol is driven from grain, from malt. So. But yeah, it's tough. I think you'll see like more brick and mortar, more tap rooms and restaurants, because that's you have a little bit more control over your margins, and you have much more control over the guest experience too.
Thanks.
How do you determine which nonprofits you will or will not support?
We have a review committee internally, and then we try to support local. So we focus on Deschutes County. We also try to support causes that are near and dear to our team's hearts. So if there's an employee that's really passionate about a movement, we take those really very considered. We consider those in particular, and then we also try to support causes that just about everyone can get behind. We try to stay away from anything all that political or anything that is what is it? Partisan issue. Yeah, we try to. Yeah, so I would say like Oregon Hunters Association is about as close as we get to doing anything a little bit maybe more on the edgier side. But things that everyone can get behind, like protecting the environment. People who love beer often love dogs too. Supporting locally, because if we're going to ask, through our marketing, we're basically asking people to come visit us at our pub. So we want to support those same people that are coming out to support our business.
So as far as long as I recall, even before we went nonprofit, Cascade Lakes has been very generous. When back in 2009, we started a golf tournament. Kiwanis had its own golf tournament, and I went to, I want to say, I can't remember the name of the gentleman that I worked with then, but he automatically jumped on board and they donated all the beer for the tournament, and it did as long as we had that tournament. So just that history is awesome that you continue to support that. The other one comment I just want to add is the remodel that you did in Redmond, changing outside, really like that job. Really enhanced that restaurant there. So.
Definitely don't need horseshoes for little faces to catch.
Yeah,
we only had like 5 people upset about that. And, when you mix beer and
Little boys running around, little kid. Like I got 2 little boys that I was always afraid to turn to my back that they get clanged in the head.
Yeah, there was.
Or somebody's dog or.
Yeah, absolutely.
For those who dabble in home brewing, what advice would you give them from the standpoint of did they pay attention to the water, to the hops? What would you suggest to them?
Yeah, it's certainly all important. I would say freshness of ingredients is important. I think the best thing that you could do is Central Oregon has a really cool club called Central Oregon Homebrewers Organization, and they have a monthly meeting, and I believe it's only $25 a year to join, and you can. I know they allow guests at their meetings, and they have a really wonderful community that are super helpful. I don't think Central Oregon unfortunately has a homebrew shop anymore. I think it's after Platypus Pub closed. I think it's just online, but I haven't been to a meeting in a little while, but pre-COVID. I used to be pretty active in that group, and they were really helpful. They really knew their stuff.
The last few years has been a proliferation of ciders, fruit-flavored beers. I don't know if you can still call them beer.
Yeah.
But what's driving that away from the older traditional craft beer?
That's a really good question. Small plug, we do make our own cider at Cascade Lakes, which is a pretty fun project we got going on. We actually, last year we won a gold medal at North American Beer Awards for our cider, and we work with a local orchard in the valley for that. But although ciders are not necessarily healthier for you than craft beer, I know the health and wellness trend has really changed the industry into lighter beers, much more non-alcoholic beers now available, seltzers, low calorie. So I think just like I think every generation learns a little bit more about health and wellness, and I think we've seen its impacts there. I'm not really sure. I also think it's I would say that it's a little bit more accepted, and just in my own experience, because I know when I first had a beverage, if I was caught with a Mike's Hard Lemonade or a Angry Orchard, they'd be like, "Dude, what's going on?" And now people, like the biggest, toughest guy will have a Wild Basin Great Seltzer, and no one will bat an eye. So, which is a good thing, like people should be able to. I like one of my favorite sayings is like the manliest thing that a guy can do is that whichever he pleases, sort of thing. I think there's a little bit less judgment and prejudice, in hopefully all areas of life, but including alcoholic beverage choice. So, sorry, that was a little bit.
Well, that's also
Did I answer your question?
Just don't quit making 20-inch browns.
Oh, absolutely. We're very we just got to tell Jenna and Marta over here to get it back on tap.
Can you share with us what your best seller is?
Yeah, and also thank you again for your earlier comments. I'm not sure. Yeah, our best seller is certainly Blonde Bombshell. Yeah, that's what we're best known for. That one will be around as long as the brewery is around. 20-inch brown has been a long time favorite. And then we have some, always refreshing things with IPAs and
I
such.
like this.
Yeah, that one just actually was voted. Sorry, not. I do sales for our company, but not trying to take over. But we just it was voted Central Oregon's best IPA at a local blind taste testing competition. So definitely trying to get the word out about that one.
So how many beers do you have in production at any one time? And then, so is there a handful of staples, and then you're rotating others in and out?
Yeah, we have a quarterly seasonal, rotating seasonal program, and this is just in distribution. This is in cans, and then we have 8 or 9 core, what we call annual or core products, and then at our pubs, I believe we have 16 taps at the Redmond restaurant and 20 taps at the Bend restaurant, and so. We also have an R&D brewing system. It's a small little 1 barrel, almost the size of what you might see home brewers use. And so it's definitely seasonal. People like to drink more beer when it's warm. There's much more people in Redmond and Bend and Central Oregon visiting in the summer. So, we might have be working on 25 beers at once in the summer, and then more like 12 to 15 in the winter.
See, I told you you get a lot of questions.
Yeah, no, it's a great question.
It's like, oh, beer, yeah. Questions. Big hand for Andy. All right.
Recreated. Chris, thank you. Chris, I hate to put Andy on the spot, but as a former Key Club member, he might be interested in the Kiwanis Club.
She's hard to say
somebody else.
Yeah, no, I gotta find out more about it. What's involved. I don't want to commit to something.
Yeah, no.
I don't have time to.
You bring samples and you get
Okay.
One meeting a month at Cascade Lakes. I think we could probably.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Plus after hours. No, thank you, Andy.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you. Thanks, Andy.
All right.
Second.
Got 5 minutes here to get you back. If anybody is available and wants to help load some furniture from the library to benefit Central Christian, follow me there. Otherwise, have a great week.